Prologue. A shot rang out in the dark, stirring the dogs in the area and breaking the silence. The wind carried the screams, as something rumbled in the thicket edging the tobacco fields. Negro tenants poured out of shacks nearby, shaken by the endless wailing. Silas Krause was dead. Word of the murder spread quickly around the old Moravian settlement. It reached every house by high noon the next day, the assailant gone without a trace. Folks wondered who in the world Silas had offended. He hadn't made a single enemy, and never met a stranger. He'd always been a kind soul, even to the Negroes who worked the land. They'd been expecting him up north when it happened. The town paper called him one of Nazareth Hall's finest. Silas had been a student there, only home for a brief visit. The entire settlement mourned him for days. Those days turned into weeks for Major Clark, a tall, willowy gambler who bore a striking resemblance to Silas. Only he was colored. A half-breed, rumored to be the offspring of Jake Krause, Silas's father. Everyone in town knew Jake had a fondness for colored women. Had his way with them whenever he pleased. Old black Sally Clark had been one of his favorites. He had beaten her often, right in front of the child they shared. Major never forgot. He vowed to avenge his mother someday. That day came, but he missed his chance. The wrong man had died. Half out of his mind with grief, he roamed the town on foot for days, crying. Months passed. Major stepped into Bailey's barber shop on Dadson's Main Street, greeting everyone with the tip of his hat. They all knew him as Lucky Duck. He owned the finest car in town, and wore shirts made of silk and genuine gaiters. He passed through a door and back, and climbed down a dark stairway. Major rapped rhythmically on the door at the bottom, signaling for entrance. Music spilled out when Sybil Chavis finally opened up. A half-breed like himself, he had claimed her as his woman, dressing her in fancy clothes, costly jewelry, and mail-order colognes. She served liquor there, flirting with the men. "Well, how you?" she said with a sly grin, playing with his tie. Sybil was beautiful, but her heart was black. The next time he found Lucius Franklin in her company, he meant to settle it for good. He took his tie back and sidestepped her, entering the smoke-filled tavern. Charlie Butner was on piano, singing some raunchy blues tune with a cigarette balanced between his lips. The song had stirred couples to get up and dance. Major's eyes settled on the loudest Negro in the house. Lucius was talking his usual mess, rolling dice on the table. He had drawn a crowd. Connor Henderson had just gotten back from the war. He was from the area, but had gained an apprenticeship with a big paper in Durham. The man knew where to find a good time. He was already tore down, a glass of brandy in his hand, dancing alone. He stumbled right into Major's path. His face lit up when he turned and saw who it was. "Hey Lucky, my man. Been a long time. How you been?" Major liked Henderson, a self-made man who had taught himself the art of photography. Reporting skills he'd picked up in the service. Still a single man, Henderson roamed the state looking for newsworthy stories. The men shook hands, Major forcing himself to smile. "Heard about old Silas. Had to come down and get the story, and look who I run into. Ain't y'all some kin?" Major's smile faded as he looked him over. He shrugged it off and took a moment to think. "Yeah, that's what I've been hearing all my life. Can't say one way or the other. Anyhow, that's a whole other world he from." Henderson sighed and shook his head. "Ain't it the truth?" he said. "Damn shame how he passed. Silas, the only cracker round here, ever treated a man like he was one." He sipped his drink slow, letting it settle. Major stepped away before Henderson could press him further. The crap game caught his interest. He made his way to the table, weaving between other patrons, and watched for a while. "Major, you too chicken shit to get in. I'll take your money too, chump. Make me no, never mind." Major pulled out a roll of bills, drawing whistles from the crowd, then slapped 10 on the table. Franklin's eyes stretched wide as he rolled the dice in his hands. "Aight then. Spend your rent money, fool." "Got more where that came from," Major said. "That's why Sybil mine, not Yoan's." The crowd roared with laughter, making Lucius hot. Major thought too much of himself. It was time to take him down a peg or two. 2 men matched the bet with 10s, while 4 others slapped down 5 apiece. Lucius had been on a roll all night. Yeah, well, money talks and bullshit walks, my man. He released the dice and let them tumble. They rolled to a 4 and 3, drawing mocking laughter from him. Major smiled as he watched him roll again, the bones landing on a 5 and 2. Lucius shut his eyes tight, grimacing as his backers cursed him. His winning streak was over. Sybil eased through the crowd and slipped her arms around the champion. She was his for the night, at least until the money ran out. Well, I reckon it's time for you to take a walk, Major said. Hi, yella bastard. How you ever get a name like Lucky? Ain't nothing but a jinx to me. That's all good. But I got your money and yo girl, chump. He kissed Sybil to mock him, then gathered the bills. Lucius moved toward him, as the onlookers laughed even harder. Come around this table, Lucius, and you gon' regret it for the rest of yo pitiful life. Lucius took his chances, moving slow but sure, men making room for him. Major pushed Sybil aside and slipped out his steel dovo, striking fast. The women hollered as Lucius clutched his face with both hands, trying to stop the bleeding. Oh shit, this fool really cut me. Luck don't wait on nobody, Henderson shouted over the commotion. Man, get gone. Major grabbed Sybil, back toward the door, and slipped out of the club.